Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
Well, I'm loving it. Maybe not diversity, equity, and inclusion. You may not be loving that anymore because McDonald's is the latest company to announce that it is scaling back some of its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, including ending the specific diversity goals for suppliers and participation in external diversity surveys, citing a Supreme Court ruling and broader corporate reevaluations. God, look, my love of Cumulus Broadcasting would go up significantly if they stopped making me take surveys and watch videos of guys in turbans being racially discriminated against. Okay, I'd be very happy if that ended anytime soon. Despite these DEI changes, the company emphasizes its continued commitment to fostering an inclusive workplace and supporting diverse leadership, suppliers, and franchise networks. McDonald's achieved notable diversity milestones in 2024, such as 30% of U.S. leadership from underrepresented groups, etc., etc. Good for them. Doesn't have to be a policy. Here we go. An illegal immigrant previously deported 5 different times. Ready for the name here? Yordi Centeno Melchor was arrested in Elmore County, Alabama for attempting to kidnap a 17-year-old girl in a store parking lot. The suspect fled after a passerby noticed what was going on and noticed the girl's distress. He was later apprehended by Clanton police, so good for them, after a BOLO alert was issued. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has yet to comment on his repeated illegal entries into this country. So there we are again, watching this happen in Alabama and elsewhere. His bond is set at $100,000. All of this comes days after 158 United States House Democrats voted against deporting illegal immigrants who were committing violence against women.
Number 5.
You guys remember COVID? You guys remember that? Well, what about all the scams that were going on around COVID? Here's one for you. Kyle Nathan Carlisle of Phoenix City, Alabama, was sentenced to 92 months in federal prison for wire fraud and money laundering related to fraudulent COVID-19 relief loans. Between July 2020 and April 2021, he applied for multiple EIDL loans, as they called them, using false information, securing around $600,000 in loans, with a total of $3.47 million sought. I mean, this guy was going for that big score, the economic injury disaster loan stuff. He wanted some of that money. He spent it on personal expenses, including a vehicle. He was ordered to repay $547,000 in restitution and then forfeit the same amount and 3 years of supervised relief following his prison term, which again, 92 months in federal prison. Okay, cool. I like that.
Number 4.
United States Senator Tommy Tuberville, a Republican out of Auburn, is now part of the Make America Healthy Again caucus, aimed at promoting nutrient-rich foods, reducing chronic diseases, and improving the healthcare system alongside President-elect Donald Trump's Health and Human Services nominee, Robert F. Kennedy. Tuberville has also been vocal about banning harmful food dyes like Red 3, which is linked to cancer, and is still permitted in U.S. foods despite being banned in cosmetics and restricted in other countries. It's so weird that this is like an issue. Like you hear those words said, and you just think to yourself, well, why do we allow that? What? Stop it. Stop doing that. Anyway, he continues advocating for safer food policies and criticized a New York Times fact check regarding his stance on food dyes. So he's having a little back and forth with the New York Times because apparently they're pro-food dye? What are they doing? What are they doing?
Number 3.
The Alabama Policy Institute introduced its 2025 Blueprint for Alabama, a 30-point legislative agenda focused on promoting free markets, limited government, and strong families for the upcoming legislative session. I will tell you this, the Alabama Policy Institute has been very effective recently in some of the stuff that they have pushed for and what they have talked about wanting. So kudos to that organization for getting that work done. And we can all look at school choice and other things like that. They and I seem to be lining up on gambling a little bit more, although they're a little more hardline than I am. But I think that this is interesting. One of the things they talked about, officially eliminating that overtime tax forever. occupational licensing reform, increased transparency for federal funding, and protections for minors from sexually explicit material. That kind of stuff, I think everyone can agree with and find that, they're on the right track.
Number 2.
Okay, they've solved all the crime in Birmingham, guys. It's time to go home. Everyone get to Ensley right now, and everything is going to be okay. Don't worry about it. Just walk through Ensley with bags full of money, and you'll be completely fine. Nothing to worry about there at all. No? Okay, good. The Birmingham Crime Commission released a 67-page report highlighting the city's violent crime crisis with a homicide rate 7 times the national average and a record-breaking number of homicides in 2024. The report calls for legislative reforms. These people are such morons, including tougher gun laws, banning firearm conversion devices, and making shooting into occupied dwellings a Class A felony. Oh, I'm not allowed to shoot into a building that have people in it? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, now it's a felony. I'm not going to. Good God. The correct answer is put people in cages longer. So on that last one, I'll increase it to a felony. I don't think it's going to stop it. Just put those people in cages. That's what has to happen. Lots of excuses made by the city council and the mayor on this one. Pretty embarrassing.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
All right, are we calling the handshake thing January 6-2 with Roman numerals like World War II? Or are we referring to it as J6-2? I like J6-2. It sounds a lot cooler, so we're going to call it J6-2. J6-2, well, it went off rather uneventfully. Yes, they certified the presidential election victory of Donald Trump, even though some of the media foolishly have been saying the alleged victory. I don't think you can say that anymore, but some have said that, and it sounds absolutely ridiculous and moronic. But Alabama's Republican congressional delegation celebrated the certification of Donald Trump's presidential election victory, with Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance officially confirmed in a 312-226 electoral college win. Senator Katie Britt, Republican out of Montgomery, praised Trump's historic victory, emphasizing the public's desire for leadership that prioritizes national prosperity. Can't say it, but we all want it. National prosperity and security. Representatives Barry Moore, Dale Strong, Robert Aderholt, Gary Palmer, and more echoed the significance of the event. Well, Senator Tommy Tuberville declared it was time to, ready for this? You're not going to hear this, but get this. Tuberville says, I don't know if you've ever heard this before. It's time to make America great again. This has come up a couple times. I think I've heard it before, but yes, it's time to do that, and they're going to work on all of that. So Tommy Tuberville involved on top of that as well. Again, the only drama of the day was the snow in Washington, D.C., and some guy with a cane not shaking Vice President Kamala Harris's hand. That is, of course, the worst stuff that happened, so let's call that a win. It was hilarious to watch Kamala Harris have to seal her own fate, which, couldn't have happened to a more terrible person. So congratulations to Kamala Harris for an indignified end to your political career. Now go the hell away and shut the hell up. Okay? Good? All right, great. Let's continue here on the Dale Jackson Show. I want to talk to you guys here in just a bit about all these streaming devices. I'm telling you, these people do not understand that we are screwing ourselves so hard here. And I'm a little irritated by it. So we're going to talk about that here in a bit. What streaming devices, streaming programs do you have? How much are you paying for? And wow, are we really doing this? Maybe just go right back to cable. We'll be right back with more of that. Get your answers in right now. 866-494-WVNN. Stay tuned.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.